Joining us now is Jim McCormick, professor of political science at Iowa State University. Jim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
The conflict happening between Israel and Hamas, it's not new. In fact, what's happening now, if it does move to war, that'll be the fourth war between Hamas and Israel since Hamas came to control Gaza in 2007. So how likely do you think that is at this point?
Well, this has been a really periodic kind of conflict that has been going on between Gaza and Israel. And of course, the basis of it is that Hamas has said that, in fact, that they will not accept the acceptance of the state of Israel as a legitimate state. And they have stated in their charter that, they want to eliminate the state of Israel. So this is really what really might be called and what is characterized as kind of a protracted conflict that seemingly without end. And so, obviously the Israeli firepower here is much more severe, but the use of rockets by Hamas has been a regular feature, as you noted, really back from about 2007. There have been these kind of periodic conflicts, and this is just a continuation of it. And I'm sorry to say that, sort of any kind of resolution here is really probably in the future, because Hamas and Israel at the present time, in terms of moving to a two-state solution for Palestine, both parties have moved away from that. Under the Netanyahu government, it's been pretty clear that they, particularly with Prime Minister Netanyahu, when he had support of President Trump here, has really moved away from, and is very, very ambiguous about a two-state solution. And Hamas, even in their latest kind of change in their charter in 2017, said that they would, for an interim, perhaps accept a Palestinian state within the territories that were taken in the 1967 war, but they still have the longer-term goal of eliminating the state of Israel. So this is a protracted conflict, not a war without end, but a war that really continues on periodically.
And why is it that the conflicts between these two groups get so much international attention?
Well, I think the reason is that they not only have the potentiality of spilling over into other territories, but because these particular actors are supported by some other states that also have rivalries, that really makes the conflict even more of a possible conflagration in terms of moving on and bringing in larger other powers. Hamas, for example, has support from the Iranians here, and they have lately gotten some support from Turkey here. And of course, given the United States, and particularly under the Trump administration, with the reaffirmation of really strong ties to the Israelis, that also sort of polarizes the situation here in the Middle East, and that can have the potential spillover effect that I was referring to.
And Republicans, by and large, are quick to support Israel in these types of situations, just like we're seeing now. So how did an entire U.S. political party come to back Israel, and has it been more than Republicans historically giving their support?
Well, traditionally, of course, support for Israel has come from the Democratic Party, but there has been a waning within the Democratic coalition in terms of its support for Israel. There has been the emergence of a new lobbying group called J Street, going back to 2008, among Jewish identifiers and Jewish supporters in the United States, that have really called for a two-state solution, which has been at variance largely with, say, the Netanyahu government here. So there has been some split within the Democratic Party, but the other kind of change that has going on that has moved the Republicans into stronger support, I think, been two or three major factors. First of all, President Trump made a great effort with the Abraham Accords, that is to get other Arab states to recognize or to acknowledge the existence of the state of Israel, and even to establish diplomatic relations. That's just been done over the past several months here, actually. So that has been one driver of Republican support. I think the other driver has been evangelical Christians who have been largely Republican supporters. And I think there's been a third movement, even among some of those Jewish members in the United States. They have also come to, particularly with the kind of split that has occurred, to move at least some to the Republican Party. That's relatively small, but nonetheless, it's an important coalition that the Republicans would like to draw into their camp. So I think there are multiple reasons, some divisions among Democrats, and then a growing support among Republicans for the state of Israel here.
We know it's a complex issue, both overseas, here at home. Jim McCormick, thank you so much for clarifying some of this for us tonight. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much.